Now, how do I select the camera? Jesus, I don't know. Okay, get.
We just need to figure out the cameras. What are any of these little slides?
That's volume control, I think.
Edit.
Okay, we got something, but I gotta leave it to you from here. I don't know what's happening.
We gotta figure out how to get the cameras forward.
All right. So not on.
So you're live right now.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. So is this how many people are on right now? Okay.
Just need to share screen. Setting. Maybe this setting. Maybe manage.
I wonder if we don't have like certain capabilities. Oh, see, it says webcam right there. I wonder if we don't have.
Choose your broadcast type. Customization. Okay. Is there a way to integrate? Like we can't have both. We have at least one camera facing them. You know what I mean? If we integrate this one right here that goes that way to at least face it.
They're all into this right now.
But it won't allow you.
And it's if the camera was facing, because right now it's on mine, but if it was facing that way, it would pull it.
Yeah, it won't allow you to.
Right. Good morning. Yes, Amy Robinson is going to be live. We're just trying to figure out the camera situation. And she'll be starting at around 9 o'clock. So we'll have about 7 minutes. We're just trying to figure out so that you don't have to look at me. We're going to switch the camera around somehow. Will you grab that spot? It looks like I can't switch it from webcam.
Yeah, which is ridiculous.
Right here.
Because you don't have like a streaming tool on there, do you?
The only
Like
other
OBS?
thing that I could think of is to log in. I know we don't have a meeting on Zoom, and then go live and log into YouTube on that. Okay, hold on. Can I cancel this and then come back to it? Or just leave it going?
I don't know. We are in uncharted territory here.
Okay. We're going to just try and troubleshoot this. Stay with us.
I think I changed the password on that one too.
Because yesterday it didn't make. What did we do? It didn't make us. We somehow just joined.
Create a meeting? Well, you got to log into something first.
Okay. Is it Phoenix at Creative Mornings?
Yes.
Okay. So it goes like this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Oh, that was fast. Good at that.
Okay, so let's just see if we did a new meeting. And we did. So there's like a more, and you could go to stream on YouTube. Let's just see.
Okay. Go ahead. It may not like the fact that you're on Safari, so you might have to copy and paste.
Oh,
105 495. Select all the guests for now. We can rename it later.
Or we'll just say CM Phoenix. What's the title of this month?
Parallel. Para LL. Yeah, there you go.
Right. Woo. Okay, we'll see. So the other people are here. No, this is Zoom. This is the other one. There's 13 people. Okay, guys, we're troubleshooting. Stay with us.
If worst comes to worst, we literally just turn the computer around.
Yeah. We have a great setup with 2 cameras, and we're trying to figure out how you can actually see rather than like a webcam view. So just stick with us here. Okay.
Go to Zoom and change the camera to Zoom, and then it's the only camera.
So how you can actually see rather than like a webcam view. So just stick with us here.
That's no fun. Very strange.
Zoom won't let you use the cameras?
Yeah.
Usually, like when we just tried it last night, it pokes up as another.
There's nothing.
HDMI out.
HDMI out, but where is HDMI going to?
Hello, this is Lorley.
Should be HDMI in, not
Okay.
out.
I'm gonna have to get started, so we might have to just literally spin the computer around,
Yeah.
and then hopefully it picks
So I'll
up
just
the
close
ambient
out.
light. But then, how would we get? Are we able to get a recording? Do those have like a memory card on them?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll record
then-
them onto those
and then,
cameras,
sorry.
but the audio might not be. It'll be recording from
The
the.
room.
What about now?
Yeah.
Is this not connected to the
camera
mic? To this?
What
No,
about
they
now,
should be.
Lorley?
They should be.
Try
Sorry. Okay.
No.
anything? Our camera? Just turning everything on.
Okay. Let's try that. Good idea.
How do we turn this on? It's not the power button. It doesn't seem to be working. Oh, there it is.
There we go. No.
And do we have another one?
It's not recognizing this. I'm
Mm-mm.
gonna pull this out.
Is it because it's turned off?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna get up there.
Okay.
On air?
Okay. So I'm just gonna close out of Zoom, and then we're gonna.
Well, it's weird that Zoom's not
On
picking this
air?
up though.
Yeah.
Did we put on
So
air?
that means no, because what we're trying to do right now is integrate the camera.
Pardon my interruption. Hi, I'm Taylor.
Hi.
Hi, Taylor. Nice to meet you. Amy sent me over here to say that we're broadcasting live and people are looking at us on YouTube.
Yes.
Troubleshoot. Okay,
Yes.
yes. All right.
Yeah. They're watching us.
You got it. I'm not hopeful.
But now we just need to switch around the camera. Yeah, it's not pulling it up on that either. So we're just gonna go back to YouTube. We're gonna flip the camera. Okay. Okay, everyone. There's 25 of you. Good morning. Okay, can you let us know if you can hear us? Is it really loud, like ambient noise from the room? Or are you hearing Prescott or Amy? Can you let me know? It's a lot of ambient noise. Okay. We're gonna figure this out. going to switch the camera around so you're not just staring at me, but
So we're not using this, and if he has that mic, you're gonna need to put this USB-C in there.
so that they can hear it. But what about the? Well, yeah, we could try that. I don't know if there is. I don't think there is one. No, there's not one. So let's just do it there, and then at least it'll maybe go to the cameras for the recording for later. And there won't be a lot of ambient noise once we get started.
Good morning. Hello, everyone, with Creative Morning.
No, I haven't.
Can everyone in the room hear? Okay, great. And how about C? Is that? Ooh, that's volume. Okay. Thank you for coming. First of all, with Creative Mornings, I'm Krista, and thank you for joining us in the April or the March session.
There's like music playing from somewhere.
Okay, a quick explanation of what's happening here. We have obviously we have us in the room. We also have the live stream happening, and we're trying a new system today. So a little bit of teething troubles. Hopefully the folks online are going to be able to interact a bit, and then we'll also, I believe, we'll have a video after the fact. So check it out in future months on how slick our YouTube live streaming operation is going to be. But we're going to keep rolling. We got a lot to cover, so we're going to jump right in. So who's here for the first time in any Creative Morning? Wow. Okay, at least half.
Okay, can you guys hear Prescott?
Don't worry.
Well,
It's pretty simple. Let's just jump right in. Thank you, first of all, to our global sponsor, which is Adobe. You've heard of that. Adobe recently made a partnership with Creative Mornings to support the entire organization, which is really, helpful, certainly. But it also reinforces this idea that creative people across all different professions and sort of skill sets are using different Adobe tools, which is cool. Here's a quick little slideshow. I think it's going to start playing of all the different chapters, or some chapters that are using different Adobe shoutouts. And part of what Adobe is doing with Creative Mornings is helping launch field trips, which is an upcoming offering. So in addition to these in-person events, there will be live online topic sessions that are not necessarily on Friday morning. And so that's almost becoming like a sort of casual school for all these different topics from all over the world. So just take a look at that. That's what's coming up. And it's available at creativemornings.com/fieldtrips if you're interested. And if something is specifically coming up, we'll try to reach out to you as well and let you know. Let's keep going. Thank you to our local sponsor at the chapter level, and that is AIGA Arizona. Who here is a member of AIGA Arizona? Okay, we got a few. AIGA is the Professional Society for Design, and of course Arizona is our statewide local chapter who hosts a number of events, including the big one, which is Phoenix Design Week in the fall. And we're going to have a little more from AIGA later in the session here. And then thank you to our host venue for today, and that is Cahoots and Benedictine University. So 2 organizations, 1 great location. Is Jaime here? Do you want to say anything about the new Mesa location for Cahoots?
Did we go front?
Yes, sorry, I should have told you beforehand. Why does he keep advancing? That's curious.
Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Jaime Munoz. I'm the managing director at Sleep Co-working. I'm going to spend like a minute just to talk about who we are and what we do and what we got going on. We are the first ones in Phoenix to start co-working. We're about to hit 15 years in June, which is awesome. So we are about to hit our 15th year in June, which is awesome. We are one of the first ones. We are first in Arizona. We're one of the first ones in the nation, which is awesome. Female founded, minority owned, it's huge for us. We are a very lived in space. Our goal is just a lot of community, a lot of collaboration. We love people. So, fun things about us. So, when you get access to one location, you get access to both locations. There's a lot of perks. There's a lot of conference rooms, event space, like the space that you're in now, which is great. We have our podcast studios, all like just a whole bunch of stuff, which is great. Right now, I'm running a special, just as FYI, throwing it out there. We have 3 months off a 3 months half off a new membership right now that's going on. It is ending in March. It will come back in June. I'm just saying. But if you do have any questions, please, I'm here for you. We are on floors 2 and 3, so if you take the elevator upstairs, if you want to take the tour today, we're here all day today. If you want to work here for free all day today, everybody's first day is always free at both locations, which is awesome. And then again, if you have any questions, so thank you guys for being here. Okay, thank you.
Okay, not so much longer, don't worry. So Creative Mornings is a global organization, and we are currently, can anyone guess, in how many chapters, how many countries around the world? 100, 250, okay.
Countries?
250 cities.
Okay, 100 countries, 250 cities, close. It is currently 244 chapters across 70 countries, which is pretty remarkable. And I don't even know some of the far-flung ones. You could look on the list. There was the Oman chapter was checking in a few months ago with the theme, and most people don't even know where Oman is, let alone that there's a creative community there. But like that's pretty awesome. Here's something to chew on. We don't have Las Vegas and Albuquerque. So if you know someone across the wider Southwest, poke them and say, hey, you should become the host of Creative Mornings. So Wanted, the host, right? Cheeky, but no, these are our geographic neighbors. So let's try to enroll them. But we do have San Diego and Santa Fe. So if you're on the road, check out if there's another Creative Mornings. Anyone here from out of town, by the way? I saw some of you had registrations. Where from? Idaho. Okay.
I'm from Idaho. It's pretty
What was that?
I'm from Idaho. We'll have to tell her.
Okay, but you're not like you
No, I live
based it?
here.
Okay. So sometimes people travel, you know how it is. And okay, let's keep going. So we always do a thing where we read the Creative Mornings Manifesto. And I'm gonna read it because we didn't find someone first. Here it goes. Don't panic. Everyone is creative. A creative life requires bravery and action, honesty, and hard work. We're here to support you, celebrate with you, and encourage you to make the things you love. We believe in the power of community. We believe in giving a damn. We believe in face-to-face connections, in learning from others, in hugs and high fives. We bring together people who are driven by passion and purpose, confident that they will inspire one another and inspire change in the neighborhoods and cities around the world. Everyone is welcome. All right. And then, you're applauding the manifesto, not me. And part of that, the way it manifests, what way it distills is basically this one: bring a friend, make a friend. So everyone can join. You don't have to be in a specific field, and we always encourage you to bring someone, bring a colleague, bring a boss, bring a roommate, bring a friend, family members who are swinging through. Right, Laurel's family came through a couple of years ago from South Dakota, not from Idaho, but equally frozen. So next time, we'll see you back here with someone else, right? Okay. Now, I want to move to the main portion of the programming, and that is our speaker, and it's Amy Robinson. Now, I'll let Amy introduce herself. She's got a bit of the theme and a bit of the background in her part of the presentation, so I'm not going to make that redundant. So I'm going to turn over the mic and the clicker thing to Amy, who's going to take you through it. Is that how we do it presenter? No. Whoop. How do I get this back now? Do you know off the top of your head? Yeah. And then. Yeah. Yeah. I usually have to go to yoga class to stretch that arm. Let's see if it works. Let's see if it works. Let's see if it works. Interesting.
Hooray! Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Yeah. I'm not a morning person, so thank you all for being here. And thank my husband for waking me up. I was like, no, and he was like, girl, you gotta get up. Like, you can't, you got someplace to be. So I thank him for waking me up. And I'm very happy and blessed to be here today. So me, let's get started. For those of you who do not know me, hi, I'm Amy Robinson. I am a designer. I am a teacher. I am a mom. I am a history nerd. And I'm a sass hole. So that's going to come out in my talk, I promise. So when I first thought of this topic, which the theme is parallel, it was very interesting because did anyone get a chance to actually read it? No, y'all. Rude. Essentially, as you can see up here, they're talking about how we have parallels in our lives, kind of like railroad tracks, right? The two sides never meet. And so when I first thought of this topic, I started with the thing that I don't like, which is math. And because what's your least favorite subject and why is it math? So really, a little over 30 years, I have never used the quadratic equation. Probably never will. So I don't do the math. But anyway, I went to math. And I just had to find something, I told myself, that you all could relate to, that I could share with you all, something that we have in common, something that's funny enough. It doesn't scroll on my nose.
Let's try moving the mouse to this screen, and then there we go. Good show machine. There we go. Track that. Oh God. And it's the opposite direction. Oh, you're trying to mess me up today. Wrong direction. So funny enough, my first gut instinct was to talk about what does work and what I am going to talk about today. But I'm not used to trusting my gut because I have IBS. So yeah. So to illustrate where I'm going with this, not the IBS, the theme of parallel, I figured that I would share what my corporate and in-house days would have been like in the spirit of what I would have sent in an email. That is the wrong direction. That is the right direction. The laser is the bottom.
Hello, Mike is on his way down to your desk. I can't see it on the screen. To see if you're attending tomorrow's training. Thanks. With my super profesh signature. I would have also said this. Hey, Queen, hey! Our boss man is coming to ask what time you coming through to the training tomorrow. Okay, bye. Again, super professional. Axe is such a funny little word here because for a lot of us, we know it as a stereotype. One specifically to make fun of folks who say axe instead of ask, as darker shades of wheat. So this is a metathesis or transposition of letters or sounds in a word. This word actually is one of the oldest ways to say ask. Around for centuries and with roots in Old English, it actually comes from axion. And though it's essentially been phased out for the way we hear ask now, it still persists in some dialects like the American South and the Caribbean. In fact, the Canterbury Tales, written by none other than Geoffrey Chaucer, use axe as well as the first complete translation of the Bible. Children's history narrative. Anywho, what did you all notice about these two emails? That tone switch, right? Tone switch, one that kind of, sort of, almost, maybe not sounds like me. And the other one does, more or less, sound like me. And for those of you who don't know me, they both may sound something alike in a way. And yes, that is called code switching. Who's heard of it? Okay, you have not. Code switching in linguistics is actually the practice of alternating between a couple of languages or dialects within a conversation, and might I add, a surrounding environment or one surrounding. It translates to examples like toning down one's regional accent or language to fit in, most commonly switching from African American English, as it is a thing, or AAE, to American English when around a different race, or changing your name that highlights your ethnicity or religion to blend in. We saw this a lot in the 1930s Germany when people were fleeing the Nazis, coming to America, changing their name so they would not be recognized as Jewish. But now, the most important part, and also, might I add, the last one, would be changing your name for an interview in order to get the job. That's the most important part. What does this have to do with parallel? Some of you may have already started connecting the dots of where I'm going with this. As I stated before, those emails sound very much like Amy. For those of you who are in this room with me, maybe the other one is kind of like, meh, not so much. Some would even say that not both of these sound completely contrasting and one may sound more relaxed and fun, while the other one sounds professional. Oh, that word. One that has haunted me and a lot of creatives over time, because what exactly does professional mean? Like drinking on the job, some no-nos here, not really professional. Not adhering to a dress code in a way that could interfere with your job safety. Notice I said that it interferes with your job. It interferes with your job. So it's not interfering with your job. Doesn't need to be. Just thinking out loud. Being chronically late. I say that, I know my husband's like, but you. Like, baby, do you look in the mirror? There are some things that run along a gray area. Oh, and if you ever microwave fish, you deserve to step in a puddle with your socks on. Oh, yeah. So there is a gray area that some may not always think about. For me, as a creative, an introverted one, in a corporate and agency setting, I had two pieces of me that I felt could never intersect. There are two parallel lives that I felt that should never and could never intersect. The stigma has always been there, and in my case, based on my work experience, and whether that be interpersonal or interpersonal relationships, it showed that a certain language was deemed unprofessional. And therefore, unless I was around like-minded individuals, I could only stay within the professional version of Amy before I know. But why? Why the stigma? And it's not just linguistics. Most people tend to exist in some type of parallel space, often without even realizing it. Even now, I'm sure my students may be confused by my little bit different presentation style than I've been giving. But this tweaked version, some may not take this gal seriously, which is fine, because I'm not meant to be taken too seriously. Is it vastly different than how I usually teach and present? No. But that's because, as the theme challenges us to do, and literally for myself out of a sheer act of resistance, so I did that. Who won't tell me no? Literally nobody. I have relinquished the effort of trying to keep two parallel lives and to intentionally live authentically as me. What's scary is that I thought I had to perpetuate all of this and keep the parallel going in order to be successful. Even now, at the beginning of this, I was having conversations about imposter syndrome and wondering if this is a space that I actually fit in. And for some of you here who know me and have known me for a time, this may be that this is how I've always been, how I've always presented myself. I've always seemed like I'm clearly, transparently my authentic self. And if you are one of those people, I thank you, because you have given me the space to allow myself to be authentically free from the get-go. So I appreciate that. But two, it can also be that I am at that fine line age of not gonna do it. I can't. Because being so authentically true to yourself is so incredibly important. And at some point, I stopped and said, this doesn't serve me. This doesn't serve me to be too. It was exhausting. You'll sometimes find, and some of you can shake your head, if you're my students, you can do thumbs up. Please don't do that. Some of you may feel that you have to be on, right? And then you get home and you're like, God, I'm tired. Why am I tired? Were you on all day? Were you putting on that front and not being authentically yourself? Think about that. How can you blend the two so you're not on and you're just you? So at some point I said, I don't want to do that anymore. It's too exhausting. This should be important to you as well, to not play either side. Do you know how hard it is to turn down your energy when you have a lot of it? First of all, turning off subtitles on my face. See? Can't do it. And then to stifle this loud ass laugh, like, it's hard to do. But why stifle it? Because it's not professional. It is loud though. My laugh is loud. My laugh is loud. Like, no, son, it doesn't serve me to hide. It doesn't serve me to switch and keep two versions of myself. And it doesn't serve you either. So, some parallels we may think of. When I first landed my job at, and it was funny because as I was looking for parallels, I asked my husband, and he was like, "You landed your first job at Child Protective Services as a student, like intern over the summer." And it would have been highly unprofessional for me, a girl of 14 and a half, 15, to show up blasting the likes of Tupac. I mean, I did it, but it still would have, in my mom's car. That was the best part. But I wasn't going to listen to yacht rock like they did. And that's what they expected. When you work here, it's listen to Barry Manilow. And no, I don't have any pictures from when I was 15. Not doing that. Continuing to look down that list, my boss man, who I mentioned earlier in my email example, was covered in tattoos. Covered in tattoos. There were very few people in the office that saw him outside of work. In the workplace, very dapper. Nice tie, nice suit, dressed to the nines, always dressed completely, because we had to wear suits. We had to wear dresses, we had to wear skirts, we had to wear heels. No one in the office ever knew that he had tattoos. And in fact, I followed in his footsteps as well, because tattoos were so frowned upon in this corporate setting. For those of you who are wondering what that corporate setting is, it was the NFL. I know, shocking, but we weren't allowed to show them. Or piercings either. So I did most of my artwork from only a select few. And I actually worried about that as I moved into ASU. When I began teaching, first day, I looked for the dress code, couldn't really find it, asked for help with the dress code. And so I mimicked what I wore in the corporate setting. So a lot of button-ups, a lot of dresses, a lot of heels. And what was really interesting, because at some point, again, the switch flipped, and I was like, why am I walking into this lecture hall, down all of these stairs, in these heels? Like, I don't want to do it anymore. And then I stopped. And no one said anything. And I was like, well, who's gonna tell me no now? Nobody. But I felt that that was what I had to have in order to teach, in order to be taken seriously. In fact, that reflected in my work. When I gave my history lectures, they weren't like I dressed, but I can dress pretty good. I can dress pretty good now. But it was very by the book. Look at, it wasn't Ben Stein. It wasn't that bad. But it was very by the book. And it was very, this is the information, have a great day. And then I was like, why am I doing this? I don't have to teach this information like this. I don't want to teach this information like this. It can be fun, which is when I started implementing the fun and useless fact for my students. And that was a way to bring history in a way that they could enjoy. They could bring it into their lives and remember it later when they're like me and their brain's like a goldfish and they randomly think of something that has nothing to do with the conversation that they're having, but it just pops in your head and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, did you know that? And then history just continues to share. If you don't learn from it, it repeats itself. Anyway, so that's how I started, just incorporating fun and my authentic self. Because Lord knows I was already mad that the class was at 8 a.m. And I was like, look, y'all ain't awake. I ain't awake either. But I'm trying to be awake. So it was a way to engage, but it was my own authentic way of doing it. Do I still hate that it's at 8 a.m.? Yes. Is it at 9 a.m.? Do I still hate it? Yes. But we're working on that. We're working on that. So, and then looking at this list, continuing, right? Can people who are professional do these other things? I know that I was told when I really started getting into piercings, you're never gonna have a good job with piercings. I didn't know that was the qualifier. I didn't know your shirt's not tucked in, it's not, you're not wearing a suit, they're not gonna take you seriously. But shouldn't my work speak for itself? Because usually with my clients, once I land the gig, I'm really nice and dressed, and oh, you look so cute, thanks, girl. By that next one, look, we in jammies together. You got your comfies on, where's your glass of wine? Like, and that's the relationship that should be built because the work is going to speak for itself. Continuing with that list, skipping to that last one, Dungeons and Dragons. Where are my D&D players in here? Raise your hands, proud. It's been a thing forever. And I think kind of in the same vein, as an example of a parallel, it caught people off guard when Megan Thee Stallion started cosplaying and was really into culture, manga and cosplaying. But what really throws people for a loop is when they realize people like Joe Manganiello is a huge Dungeons and Dragons player, as is Dame Judi Dench. But the only reason she got started in Dungeons and Dragons was because she was introduced to it by her friend. No one saw that coming. That was not on your bingo card. Don't even pretend you knew this was coming. But they're all proud players, living in their authentic selves, and what would we would say as surprising parallels. And based on how they present themselves to the world, that's why we're shocked. We're like, really? Really? Vin Diesel? Okay. So when we think of these things, and oftentimes when we think of these parallels we saw previously, and we think of them and what we should expect from that certain audience or that person, these are often stereotyped, outdated, unseasoned comments that only come at the expense of our authentic and creative self, especially if we try to lock them away and stifle them. So who and what outside of our talent, perseverance, and a couple of good old swear words, could stop us, right? There's naturally inherent pros and cons to throwing some caution to the wind and living in what I like to call the flexibility of you. Your authentic, creative self will definitely scare and frighten people. It will not be palatable to everyone. Some, not all, of my very first clients may really like the more pressed version of me with the Zoom mute button on, trying not to scare them with my sailor mouth, and that's okay. My business and my teaching goals are mine, not someone else's interpretation or definition of what it should be. And I can see that more and more with each new group of designers that come into my class, and show me their appreciation for my crazy style of teaching, my Nikes, and my momming, and my business clients who have become like family, and we just click. The differences of our experiences make our lives our own. That's the beauty in it. Today and every day, from here on out, I call on you to celebrate those diverse moments without having to say the two sides, parallels, should never meet. They can, at the intersection, and at an intersection that you create, not the parallel. And that's where we find the beautiful and authentic version of you.
Okay, don't go anywhere. Don't read. Okay. What a relief! I no longer have to be this this false version of myself. I can, yeah. Let me just tuck in my shirt here. You missed last time when I was in person. Nah, forget it. So I have a quick question, and then we can take a few questions from the group here, and then we have a little bit of wrap up. So we have to watch the clock as well. But here's what's interesting. I was thinking, first of all, I'm thinking about the multiverse, which is kind of an old sci-fi trope, but it's gotten some new life in the last 10 or 15 years with the Marvel movies, that you might think there's like, that the buttoned up version of you is pretending for a job interview, but in another world, that is the authentic version, and you know, the one with the nose ring and the tattoo is, I don't know, almost a cartoon costume. So it's just kind of interesting. But here's where it comes home, that we're living now in the era of AI. It's basically like there is synthetic garbage everywhere. Apparently on purpose, people are into this stuff, but it requires us to be more authentic. And so you have these multitudes, and you have these layers, and you have these parallel points of view, but it's how do you keep them authentic? Like that's the challenge of our age. So that is something, that's not really a question, it's just something I thought of. Just like to do it. Do we have any questions from the group here? I can run around with the mic, actually both mics, right? Because this is detached. Laura Lee, did we have any questions from the chat room, or were we able to get fidelity that they can hear us?
Yes, and I just asked them if they have any questions. So
Okay.
Stay tuned.
All right, so how about in the room here? And I'll come around to you. Okay, just say your name and then your question.
I'm Julie, and I loved your presentation. I have multiple questions, multitudes, but were there any aha moments where, or is there one you can think of where it just really landed that this is not working to have these parallel lives? Like, do you remember any specific experiences where you maybe left and then you were like, oh my God, this needs to change?
You'll have to project. I only have one mic.
I'm loud enough. Just talked about being too loud. It's probably when I left the NFL. I'm sorry. Well, mentally, I left the NFL. physically and mentally, those are two different dates. But in 2018, when I started Tiny Talks, that was probably when I was really realizing that I can expand my creative wings. You know, when you're in, for those of you who are in-house, you know you are that brand superhero, right? You're like, this is our typeface, this is our cup, go out of it, see what happens, right? Like you have to guard that brand. And so when I left the Cardinals, mentally, and I was like, look, I can do that, but I can have my own brand. That's when I started realizing, why do I have to do both? Why am I Tiny Fox and I present myself like this to all the clients and like this when I'm in house, right? My clients don't care that I have tattoos. My clients don't care that my shirt's not tucked in. They care that I don't smell, and right, and that I have good work, right? And before any of that, right, my website, we show like a lot of them find me on a website or word of mouth. If it's word of mouth, usually the person who's explaining who I am did a good job. They're like, oh my God, she's loud. and so I don't have to explain who I am when I get there, because my personality has a volume of itself. So if they came across me by my website, they kind of also have an idea of who I am because my voice in the ads.
They just can't hear you online.
Okay.
We can hear you here.
Okay. Because so my personality would speak for itself. But if they came through my website, that's my virtual handshake. So making sure that I branded that exactly the way I needed it to explain who I was since I'm not in the room, was all I needed to focus on. So when I did show up in person or our first Zoom call, they were like, oh my God, we get it. We can feel your energy through the website. Great. That was the goal. So probably right when I started freelancing, when I was like, I don't have to do this for anyone else. And why do I have to be two different people? So I started showing up to work as Amy, because Amy was Amy for Tiny Box. So why did I need to put on a facade when I have a cardinals.nfl.net behind my email? I didn't. People noticed. They were like, you are so loud. I was like, I know, right? I'm not turning it down though. I'm not turning it, like never turn it down. I mean, of course, if someone's on a Zoom call, you get people trying to do it, but like, don't turn your personality down for anyone. And I stopped doing that at work and people noticed. So that's how we went. Good question. Ooh,
I'm gonna run them. Yeah.
Can you speak to how that felt in your body when you decided to be your authentic self?
Oh, I love this question. Good one. How it felt. Ladies, you get home and you take your bra off. You're just like, y'all was uptight all day, now you're free, right? So it was just like, right? I could be. There was nothing else to worry about. It wasn't putting anything on. It wasn't hitting the door and like, okay, I have to do this. I didn't have to do that anymore. As I went around the office, it went from, oh, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, to hi, bye. Like, they're like, oh my God, it's crazy. I am. But that's how I keep my spirit in this place. So it was freeing. It was definitely freeing. And to unite the two was great because there was no question of who I am. You're like this at work. And then people would see me out of work and be like, why are you like this at work? And I'm like, because I'm trying to get paid. I like food. What do you mean? I'm trying to get my job. Why do I need to do that anymore? I don't need to do that anymore. Of course, there's within boundaries and a way to do it within boundaries that are still what some would call professional. But to me, that's just like being a good person, right? Not laughing and talking loud when someone's on a Zoom call, those types of things. But it was very freeing. It was very like, I think the hardest part was mentally being free, but still having to put on, a good friend of mine, Dina, calls it the costume, right? So I still have to wear professional wear and the button-up shirt and it's business and yeah, if I could design in gym clothes, I would design. Y'all almost got gym clothes this morning. I was like, let me put on some hard pants. But you did. I was like, I got a Gym Shark outfit. That would look amazing. But I was like, I'm not gonna do that. But this is still me. This is still me. So I mean, there's versions of me, right? When I dress. So that was probably the hardest part, but it was very freeing.
And there's also a thesis tucked in there about the difference between what do they call it? Intellectual work, knowledge work, and like blue collar trade work. They say, is it more exhausting to carry cinder blocks for 8 hours a day, or to entirely act from the minute you walk through the door? And that's why shows like Severance exist, because it's a social commentary. I mean, season 2 went off the rails entirely. Don't at me, but there's a get your PhD right here. Okay, we have two more questions. I think we only have time for these 2. 3, quick. We gotta make them quick.
Is there maybe a phrase or something from a mentor you had in your life that gave you a sort of epiphany moment of like, oh, something needs to change?
If you're scared, do it anyway. I was terrified this morning. I still got up kind of late. Husband, thank you. But I knew I was scared because I still got up earlier than I'm still late, but I still got up earlier than I usually get up, and I was like ready. I was prepared. That never happened. Maybe I am bragging in the morning, but I know I was terrified to do this, and I do this every day. I teach every day, right? I teach all y'all. So, and as you guys were in the fall class, that's an even larger class. There's 300 students in that one. But I was petrified this morning. Her name is Marsha Minnis. She was my mentor, my freshman studio teacher. She was really one of the few that supported me in design school when my husband and I got pregnant with our daughter. And so she was like, look, we got you. We got the design school got you. And I was like, I don't know what that means, but thank you. And my husband was going to be a firefighter at the time. So there was a lot going on. But she was like, whatever you do, I know this is scary right now, but you still got to do it. You still got to do it. I'm like, but I don't want to. I'm building a foot. And she was like, right, but you still have to do it. So that would probably be it.
Okay. Maybe you should walk with me. Okay, we have a question over here.
My question is, a lot of times you have to show up on the internet a certain way, and I find that LinkedIn is the most terrifying place. And it's like, when it comes to places like that, what's a tip for showing up in those places in your full authentic self?
I think sometimes we get confused with our authentic self being and the professional self being, because you can still be those things, but you can still lace it with you. So my class, for example, I have to teach the history class. I have the curriculum. Do I have to teach it the way they previously taught it? No, I can put my own little spin on it. Technically, we're supposed to be using ASC branding. Technically, I do. I do. I cheat a little bit, but I do. So I think it's important to just add a little spin on it and think about who you're engaging with and who you want to attract back. Going through the design program, I've learned a lot of people that looked like me. So engaging at a level and at that age level for people to actually communicate back is my main goal. So either you're going to come to me or you're not. That's not my problem. Because at the end of the day, I have to atone. And I still want to do cool stuff. I still want to be professional, be in professional spaces. But I'm going to do it my way. I still can. I just want to do it the fun way. Not what everybody expects me to do. And I think LinkedIn they expect you to present a certain way. I'm not going to do it.
All algorithms.
Right. Think about who makes the algorithms. How do they define professionalism? I don't know if that answers your question.
That's even worse than AI. You're just chasing a mathematical formula. They don't even care if you're authentic.
I was just thinking about in my own career, I'm very young and starting out. Do you have advice for someone who's like trying to be authentic but also get clients and like not wanting to turn down a client because you want the clients, you want the work, but wanting to stay authentic in it?
That is a fantastic question because in the beginning, you're going to want to do anything you can to get those clients. And I think as you start out, that may be what it takes. Not for you to not be authentic, but for you to just feel it out a little bit. Because then you're going to find the clients that actually rock with you. There are some that are like, you're a lot. And I'm like, I know. But then but you bring this energy with you. My husband calls me the firecracker because there is a lot of explosive energy here, and I'll also blow your fingers off. So I get that. Not everybody wants that. I get that. That's okay that you're not for me and I'm not for you. There's plenty of designers out there. But for those outside of what I offer anyway, which is the education along with the design, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that's part of the brand. But also, if we're talking about a brand and you're freelancing, you're the brand. And one thing that we know as designers, as creatives, if you change that brand even a little bit for a millisecond, people are like, they don't know who they are. Let Nike come out with something in Comic Sans. Be like, that is not Nike. Who hacked them? Who hacked them? So you know when a brand is lying, right? And people get that from you too when it doesn't line up. So I think it's imperative to kind of feel it out a little bit. I did the same thing in the beginning. In fact, I changed my visual identity once or twice because I was like, oh, that's totally who I am. And then realized I wasn't being authentic to myself. I'm like, that is not. Who am I trying to be? And I also encourage you, if you haven't done it for yourself, please do the archetypes, your personality archetypes, just to see where you fit, right? And see what your client, your consumer, your customer is looking for from you. Because once I did that for myself, and one of them came back as the jester, why am I trying to be anybody else? Like, that's just who I am, which is really weird because I also got the sage. I was like, so I'm Yoda and a jester. Okay, but that's who I am. So feel it out a little bit. See who rocks with you, see who doesn't. Listen to what they say they appreciate about you. Because a lot of times, yes, they want the design work, but they also want somebody who understands. They want a human. They don't want somebody who can just reproduce. They want somebody who can really feed what they need to mentally, emotionally. Because building a business is stressful. And designing for a business owner who is stressed is stressful. So if you can ease some of that for them in any way, whether it's through humor or crystals or whatever, that may be kind of your lane. That help? Yeah.
Okay, thank you all for the questions. We have just a little wrap up here. So I'm actually going to switch back to PowerPoint, which I hate even saying. Okay, that's the questions. 30-second spotlight. This is a thing that we do in the chapter here where we open the floor to you. So it's kind of an in-person classified. If you have something coming up, a concert, a show, if you're looking for a job, if you are trying to get rid of a couch, like, you know, you can come up to the mic here and sort of tell the room about it. And this reinforces the very local and community aspect of it. I think Raquel is making her way up. And so if anyone else has a 30-second pitch or spotlight, you can come up here and tell us about it. And it would be amazing if somebody took notes somehow. Does anyone have Slack open? Just jot them down. Raquel, do you want to come up to the mic here?
Amy's nudging you too.
Just say what you got.
So in January, I quit my day job of 6 years and started my own business. Yeah. And my first big baby, as part of this business, is a big conference that's happening here in Tempe. And it's for the business of WordPress. So if anybody's still in the WordPress world, Matt, you should be going, bro. Okay. So the website is pressconf.events. And it is for anyone who just uses WordPress to make money. That's really the target audience. And it's all mine. And I'm putting on this event and it's a big deal. So I'm spotlighting the event. And if it brings you value, you should go.
And also, I'm just like giving myself a pat on the back. So.
Does anyone else have something to remark? Yeah, come on up. I guess Amy's gonna do one, and then we can build the queue right here.
Oh, wait, let me know. I'll be quick. Whisking up web accessibility, Brand Girls Bakery. For those of you who are wanting to learn about accessibility in web, that is the other small business that I have. So the first one's Tiny Fox. The second one is the Brand Girls Bakery. We show you how to bake accessibility into your brand. It's cheesy, I know. The recipe called for it. So if you are interested in going to that event, that is live on Eventbrite. For those of you who have a business, thinking about having a business, building a website, WordPress, that would be your time to think about accessibility. There is legalities if you do not have accessibility on your website. So that is a great class to attend. It's April 5th, and I believe it is from 9 to noon. So it's a 2-hour course. I believe it's Saturday. So it's a 2-hour course to get some cool swag bags. We have amazing sponsors. Some little was the Web Accessibility Store from Matt here. He's donating some super cool stickers. And of course, Show It is also our sponsor. So sign up on Eventbrite for that course. And yeah, see you there. Okay, bye for this time.
Just introduce yourself and then whatever you're at.
Hi everyone, I am Sakshi. I am a grad student at ASU. Hi. I am in the UX program and I'm graduating in 2 months. It's yeah, thank you. It's a little overwhelming, but I'm looking for jobs right now. So if you are hiring for a designer or if you know someone who's hiring, so, please let me know. It would be a huge help. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Deliana and I actually recently quit my product ownership and product management career to become a full-time UX designer. So I've been working on my portfolio, polishing up my Figma and prototyping skills. I'm working on small business websites to really get that hands-on experience. So I am also officially on the job market, but if anybody has a similar story or just wants to connect for tips and tricks or even just a high five, like it was mentioned in the manifesto, I'd love to connect. So,
One more from Cameron? All right.
I'm Cameron Davis. I have a podcast, and I want to kind of plug that. I don't feel like I tell people enough. It's called Creative Questions. It's on YouTube. It's under Cameron Davis. But I've interviewed a bunch of different creatives. I've had on Andy J. Pizza, Meg Lewis. So a bunch of creatives in that realm. But I have a lot of fun with it. It's a passion project of mine, and I really want to kind of show people off more of that side of me. So if you guys are in the podcast, check it out and let me know what you think. So.
Oh. Okay. Yes, you go for it.
Hi, I'm Matt Wilson. I'm a web accessibility specialist. If anyone does need help with web accessibility, if you're a designer, developer, or business owner, you can get a hold of me through equalagency.com. Thanks.
Okay, and we do those every time. So if you come in the future, when you sit down, start thinking about what you can offer. So I want to give a quick shout out to our volunteers that help make the chapter work. And so these are 6 of our volunteers. Jen is also here. She doesn't have a photo. I'm gonna get you synchronized here. And Amy, who works on the emails on the back end, and maybe you. So we are always welcoming additional volunteers. We need backups in some positions, and then also it's a chance to add. So if you are crafty with video or with email or with social media marketing, or you want to get more involved in events or even practice speaking, give me a day off, let us know. So either come find one of these folks, half of us have the purple name tags, or if you get an email from us, I believe you could just reply, and that goes to one of us specifically. So we would love to get you on the team to help out. And we're also, I don't have this on the slide here, but we're always in the upcoming months interested in new venues and even speakers. So if you have an interest, and what? and sponsors as well. Of course, like we're just rolling in bagels. If your organization has capacity, that would be very interesting to win some brownie points with the boss. Maybe. Okay, real quick, a bit of housekeeping. Have you seen our website lately? This is part of the website. We need more profile photos, folks. A lot of people registered, but you did not put the laser doesn't work on that screen. Okay. Put your photo up so we can see who's coming and we can say hello when we recognize you in person. Okay? We love croissants, but we love faces more. And this is our website where we spent some time recently updating the talks area. So you can see it's on the main menu, or learn talks, and we put the previous sessions up there. So if you missed one in the past couple months, I think this goes, I think it's everything in Phoenix, but there was a gap of like 6 or 8 months that wasn't the full video. So the full videos are now on the website. And so check back for photos as well as videos. That's always there. And then on the website, there's also the newsletter. So if you go to the bottom and you hit subscribe to newsletter, you could choose what cities you want. So if you spend time in Seattle or Sheboygan, I don't know, you can subscribe to those cities. And we don't send you email just because you came to one event. So it's the European rules, the EDPR rules. And so if you want to get updates on when the new events go live, join the Phoenix newsletter specifically. Okay? Coming up, Molly, can I put you on the spot?
Oh, sure. I'm going to read directly from my phone.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Molly. I hate talking to different people. I'm current president of AIGA Arizona. We are just announcing our annual town hall. It is going to be, oh gosh, it will be at Dialogue downtown. We are hoping to create a newer format than we've done in the past. We will not just be talking at you for a few minutes. We will have a live DJ, handcrafted coffee and mocktail specials. There will be a pizza food truck on site. We are hoping to share ideas, ask questions, and co-create the future of our chapter. We will also be announcing this year's Phoenix Design Week theme, designed by Anderson Advertising. And all attendees will receive a special discount for tickets to Phoenix Design Week. It will be Wednesday, April 23rd from 6 to 8, and it's free. So come, bring a friend, and hang out.
Okay, thank you. And then from us, the next Creative Mornings event is next month, April 25th. Malcolm, who's not here today, but you might have met him at a previous event. Malcolm Marzette is going to speak on Crossroads. And yeah, come on. And that's going to be held at Glow Frame Initiative. And so here's something, especially for the online folks. Glow Frame is a video studio that is hardwired for camera switching and live streaming. So they are going to handle a lot of the glitches that we are sort of stumbling through this morning. And it's going to be great. So we would love to see you there in person and to check out that event. And then, of course, keep going month after month. And the last thing is, I would love it if we could all get together up front here and take a group photo of everyone who attended today. And that's the last thing I have. So thank you for attending. If you have to dash, I understand. Otherwise, let's get together by that sign and take a nice photo. Oh, don't forget, if you want to work here, you can stay at Cahoots for a few hours.
Have a great day.